Hey guys, Halina here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Mandalorian Season 2, so stay tuned. Alright, so Mandalorian wrapped up Season 2 in December, and I have some thoughts. I was going to do this as my final video of 2020, but I wanted to sit with the season for a while before I reviewed the whole thing. So first I'm going to give sort of my non-spoiler thoughts. Overall, I enjoyed season 2. I would say probably even more than I enjoyed season 1. There were plenty of good episodes in season 2. There was very few bad episodes. Now, there was bad episodes, but I feel like the good episodes outweighed the bad episodes by a lot. Yeah, and there was lots of great moments, even within the bad episodes. Like, there was some really, good, cool moments. And there was, of course, plenty of characters that not only are familiar to the Mandalorian universe, but to the greater Star Wars universe as a whole. So I mean, if you haven't checked out Mandalorian in season 2, definitely gives you as a, Star Wars fan a reason to check out The Mandalorian, because there are plenty of characters that are familiar to the Star Wars universe. And then, of course, our favorites from Mandalorian, including Baby Yoda. So I got this shirt today. I feel powerful. Let's see here. Powerful. But they misspelled it. Yeah, I couldn't find the right spelling, but I figured, you know what? It's adorable. Baby Yoda. He's so cute. Yeah, so overall, I enjoyed season 2. Maybe even more than I enjoyed season 1. But now we're going to go into spoiler territory. And now there will be spoilers for not only season 2, but season 1 as well. So if you are not caught up, go get caught up. Season 1, season 2, all on Disney Plus. Go get caught up and then come back here and hear all my crazy thoughts about Mandalorian season 2. Alright. Here we go. Now, a lot of the issue that I had with season 1 was that it felt like the pacing was very slow. But I gave it some leeway a little bit because it was a brand new show. It was introducing, brand new characters and everything like that. And so they had to take time to build these characters up so that we can actually care about them. So I gave it a little bit of a leeway with that, but I will say that season 2 didn't necessarily have that slow pacing issue. Like, things were happening. But, they did still take their time. There was a lot of missions of the week. Some of them, honestly, felt like they moved the story along, and some of them really didn't. And one that comes to mind with just sort of, I would say, the episode that you could skip, in many ways, is episode 2 of season 2. It's called The Passenger. Me and plenty of Mandalorian fans seem to agree that that is the most pointless episode. Now, it did have a lot of really cool moments. Like, there was the, spiders and everything like that. But, as a whole, the episode didn't really do anything except stir up controversy around Baby Yoda eating the frog lady's eggs constantly. And I feel like they could have easily avoided that by not having these eggs be, her last chance to carry on the family line. It felt very odd to have that and then have Baby Yoda basically scarfing them down like there's no tomorrow. And I don't know, I feel like we could have avoided all of this issue if we had just not done that, or even better, not done the episode. Because, like I said, it doesn't do anything. Like, it doesn't, like, really propel the story forward. I guess it, like, lines Mando and Baby Yoda up to sort of be where they need to be. But I feel like we could have found another way to get there without having sort of this pointless subplot of Mando playing taxi driver to this frog lady. Yeah, I just... Honestly, it's the episode that if you skipped it, you're good. You didn't miss much. But another thing that I had mixed thoughts on with the pacing was all the cliffhangers that we got from season 1. They weren't delved into until pretty much later in season 2. Like, what's happening with Moff Gideon? I mean, last we saw in season 1, he had the Darksaber and he was coming out of that... What is it, a spaceship, a pod, or something or another? He was coming out of something with the Darksaber, and it's like, okay, what is going on with him? Well, we don't actually get any sort of insight into any of that until episode 4, when he actually appears in physical form for the first time in season 2. So we have like 3 episodes where we have absolutely no information on Moff Gideon, because we're following Mando and we're following Baby Yoda. Neither one of them know that Moff Gideon is alive. And so we don't really have any information with Moff Gideon. And then we finally get to see him in episode 4, and we start diving into his character arc and everything a little bit more. But yeah, so we have 3 whole episodes where we just don't get answers at all. And then... another one, who was the figure looming over Fennec Shand back in episode 5 of season 1? So, that was a long time ago. Well, we don't actually learn anything about that until episode 6 of season 2. Now, I looked it up. That is 2 days shy of being a full year. So, we don't actually learn what the heck happened to Fennec Shand until almost a full year later. What's the deal? Like, surely we could have figured that out, like, a lot sooner. But, you know, whatever. But not all the cliffhangers were from season 1. There was one in the very first episode. The very first episode of season 2, at the very end, we see this mystery man who is watching Mando accepting Boba Fett's armor from Cobb at the end of the first episode. Like, literally, at the end of the first episode. And we don't learn anything about that man and why he was watching all this go down until episode 6. 5 episodes later. Like... I feel like they'd love to drop little cliffhangers everywhere and, like, leave them there. And it's like, why? Like, I don't mind waiting in some cases. Like, basically, here's the big spoilers. Like I said, spoiler alerts though. But we don't get confirmation that the man at the end of the first episode of season 2 is Boba Fett. And... you know, honestly, I didn't mind that. I didn't mind the wait. Like, I can wait that long. Like, it's 5 episodes. I don't even mind that we have to wait a full year almost to learn what the heck was happening to Fennec Shand. Even though, I mean, I absolutely love Ming-Na Wen, and with what happened, we only got her for 3 episodes this season. I want more. But with the Moff Gideon thing, there was so much, like, unknown. Like, we don't know, like, we didn't know why he was hunting down Baby Yoda. We didn't know how he got the Darksaber. We didn't know anything, really. And they waited so long to just sort of even show him, let alone start diving into these things, that we still don't really have all the answers. Like, and it's like, come on. Like, surely we could have gotten, like, little snippets at the end of each episode of just, like, him basically letting us, the audience, in on what is happening on some level. Because we needed more information, and we needed it sooner. But, you know, we got what we got. Now, like I mentioned in the non-spoiler part, we got some more characters. So, basically in season 2, we saw the return of Mando and Baby Yoda, who, by the way, his actual name is Grogu. He's gonna be Baby Yoda. We saw Cara Dune return. We saw Greef Karga return for one episode. We saw Moff Gideon. Delayed, but we saw Moff Gideon. Dr. Pershing? Yeah, he was there. Peli Motto? I am pronouncing that wrong, but I cannot catch how to pronounce her name at all. Yeah, we got her back for, I don't even remember how many episodes it was. And Miggs Mayfield showed up again. I kind of thought we were done with him, but, you know, here he is again. And, of course, Fennec Shand. Yeah, so all of those characters from season 1 returned in some capacity for season 2. Some of them were only for an episode, some were for more, and then, of course, Mando and Baby Yoda were the whole season. We partied with them the whole season. But, I mean, we did get new characters to the Mandalorian universe, at least, too. We got Cobb Vanth. He was pretty cool. He gave us, like, the absolute, like, biggest fake out, I guess, because he first appeared on screen wearing Boba Fett's armor, so we're like, oh my gosh, is it Boba Fett? No, of course it's not. But Boba Fett did appear in that episode at the end. And then we got Koska Reeves, and she's another Mandalorian, and basically just sort of a sidekick to Bo-Katan. She doesn't really do much. She's basically like Bo-Katan's shadow at this point. Like, and it's just like, okay, whatever. And I mean, of course, I buried the lead with that one because we also get Bo-Katan from Clone Wars, from Rebels. Yeah. And I think she was introduced in a way that if you hadn't seen her prior to The Mandalorian, like if you didn't watch Clone Wars or Rebels or whatever, you kind of figured out who she was as a character, what her deal was, and everything like that. Like, you weren't completely lost. Like, I'd only seen her in the couple episodes that she was in not Clone Wars, Rebels. I haven't seen Clone Wars yet. But yeah, so I feel like we got enough of an introduction to her to the point where it wasn't overly stating what some of the audience might already know, but also not leaving like the newer audience just completely like oblivious to any and everything that she is. Yeah, so she was pretty cool. Then we got another Mandalorian guy character. I don't even know if he got a name, honestly. Like, he was literally just, he was like nowhere. Like, he was in an episode. Like, even when like Koska and Bo-Katan came back, heading into the finale, he was nowhere to be seen. So I'm like, okay, like he was in an episode. I don't know if he got a name. He didn't do much. But yeah, he was there. And then of course, probably the most infamous Mandalorian, Boba Fett. Boba Fett was in the Mandalorian. And he was in quite a few episodes, and he was doing a lot. But I think Boba Fett was the one that I personally was most worried about, because I'm like, I feel like we already have Mando getting sidelined by his little Baby Yoda sidekick. That adding a arguably more famous Mandalorian into the mix was going to be a problem. Like, I was 100% convinced it was going to be a problem. And Mando was not only going to have to compete with Baby Yoda, Grogu, all that, but he was also going to have to compete with Boba Fett. But they did a pretty good job introducing Boba Fett into like the Mandalorian universe, and really sort of having him be a side character. Like, I felt like he didn't really take away from Mando and his journey in the season. Like, he was the epitome of sidekick, and I was very happy about that. Then we had Ahsoka. Oh my goodness, Ahsoka was only in one episode, but it was truly, like, she was truly my favorite guest appearance. Like, now, I have to admit, I wasn't familiar with Ahsoka to the extent, like, I knew of Ahsoka. I knew that she was sort of this, like, general fan favorite character among Star Wars fans. But I didn't really know much about Ahsoka. Like, I kind of saw her in Rebels a little bit, but in terms of, like, being a character, I wasn't familiar with her. So I was very intrigued to see her, and she did not disappoint. Like, the first scenes we see her in, she's taking out all these bad guys with her, like, double lightsabers. And I'm like, I can see why she is a fan favorite amongst Star Wars fans. Now, it may have only been one episode. She did do a lot. She provided us with Grogu's name. But she is getting her own series. And in Mandalorian, she name drops Thrawn. Like, right at the end, the last scene we see her in, she's like, "Where is Thrawn?" And I'm like, oh my goodness, I am so excited. I hope that her series sort of picks up from that moment and she's hunting down Thrawn, because, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. But yeah, so Ahsoka was in an episode, but Ahsoka wasn't the last of them. We had an appearance in the finale from not one, but two familiar characters. And this one seems to have the fans divided, and I can see why. But before I get into all of that, I won't reveal the names. So if you haven't seen the finale and you're still watching and you don't want to be spoiled, click away now. Because Luke Skywalker, de-aged and all, and R2-D2 show up. And it's revealed that, you know, sort of Luke Skywalker is the Jedi that Grogu was reaching out to, summoning whatever he was doing on top of that mountain when he got kidnapped. Yeah. So we got a de-aged Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, and R2-D2. I was like, okay. Now, when we saw Ahsoka, she said basically, I can't train him. He needs to be trained, but I can't train him. And I was sitting there going like, well, then who are we going to get to train him? Like, because we had to find the Jedi. That was Mando's whole quest with Grogu, was finding a Jedi to train him. Because he has all these powers. Mando doesn't know how to, train him because Mando's not a Jedi, so he doesn't have the powers, he doesn't have the Force, and he has no idea how to train Grogu to be the best little tiny Jedi that he can be. And so I thought, okay, Ahsoka's gonna, train him, and Ahsoka's like, nah, that's not happening. So I was like, okay, who are we gonna get to train him? Initially, I kind of thought maybe we would see a live-action Ezra from Rebels, but I don't know. I didn't really want it to be Ezra, but I wouldn't have objected to it being Ezra. But I mean, other than that, we really had nobody else to go off of except for Luke. Like, realistically, within the time frame that we're in, there's really kind of no other Jedi we can bring in to train Grogu. So we got Luke Skywalker, and people seem to be upset about that because they were hoping that the Mandalorian was going to stay away from the Skywalkers because everything sort of loops back around to the Skywalkers, and Mandalorian seemed like it could have been the one show that didn't. But it did. We got Luke Skywalker, and I have to say, I am impressed with the way that they handled it. Because it didn't take away from The Mandalorian as a show, and it didn't take away from all the moments that we had in the finale before Luke showed up. Like, Mando got, 2 good fights in. Like, he fought off, a whole dark trooper. Like, here's this all-powerful robot who has no human inside because humans make mistakes. And he was getting knocked down and he was fighting back and he was doing all these things. And then not only on top of that, he also got to fight Moff Gideon. So Mando got in 2 fights. Boba Fett, obviously, not around for this final fight. He's flying around being sort of that decoy. But we got our ladies. We got Costco Reeves, we got Bo-Katan, we got Cara Dune, and we got Fennec Shand. All, having their, crazy fight with all these stormtroopers and throwing them off the bridge and everything like that. Like, they had some really good moments too. And, I mean, Luke just came in and vroom, 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 destroyed all the dark troopers and whisked our baby Grogu away. Yeah, so I don't know what's gonna happen with Grogu, but yeah, the finale itself, I think, is probably my favorite finale, because it did a great job of setting up a potential future, not only for the Mandalorian but for different spin-offs in and of itself. Obviously, we got our lead up to the Ahsoka spin-off earlier in the season, but we got some pretty good teases, I think, for season 3 of The Mandalorian. We don't know much about what's happening in season 3. Like, we know that we're getting a season 3, but honestly, it would be a real miss if they didn't pick up the thread that was essentially laid out, because Bo-Katan and Costco want to work on reclaiming Mandalore for all the Mandalorians, and I think we might see Mando joining them, trying to reclaim Mandalore. But we also have some built-in tension because Mando was the one to defeat Moff Gideon. And so by all rights, he is now the rightful owner of the Darksaber. That's something Mando doesn't really want, but is essentially forced to have. And Bo-Katan wants it, but she can't have it. So we have some built-in tension there. I don't know. I think season 3 may be the best one yet, if they go down that path. But there is one other little missing piece that we have. So, Disney's Investors Day announced a slew of Star Wars content. Like, there was so much Star Wars, like, coming at us, and it was like, what are we supposed to do with all this? But there is one little series that they left out. And that is the Book of Boba Fett. Yeah, so if you watched the finale of season 2, go back and watch the end credits, mid credits, I don't know what kind of credits it is, because there is a scene in the credits where Boba Fett comes in and is essentially taking over the whole underworld crime syndicate thing with Fennec Shand by his side. So I'm happy because more Ming-Na Wen. Ming-Na Wen is going to be crazy busy with Star Wars because she's in the Bad Batch, and now she's going to be in the Book of Boba Fett. But I want to give my thoughts on poor little Grogu. Poor little Grogu. Because he may be doomed. Basically, like I said, Luke comes in, takes Grogu, presumably to his Jedi school. You remember the Jedi school. Yeah, it burned. And everybody supposedly died. Is Grogu gonna die in the Jedi school fire? Probably not. I feel like Grogu's gonna be long gone by then. I think we see that Grogu is extremely powerful. Like, he's using the Force basically since season 1. And while he doesn't use it a whole lot, what we do see with him doing, like, using the Force, he's pretty skilled. So I don't think he's going to need to be at the Jedi school for very long. I don't think we'll see him in season 3. I think we're going to kind of pull away from that a little bit. I think maybe they're going to try to see, you know, does the audience disappear if Grogu's not there? I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with Grogu, but hopefully he doesn't die. Yeah, so I didn't really go all out with Mandalorian season 2, but I mean, overall, I really enjoyed it. Mandalorian continues to be an amazing show, despite some bumps in the road. Let me know, what did you guys think of season 2? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Was it better than season 1? Worse than season 1? Same as season 1? I don't know. What was your favorite and least favorite thing about the season? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Click the notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload my latest videos. You can check out my season 1 review of Mandalorian by clicking here. You can check out more Star Wars content by clicking here. And you can follow my socials. The link is in the description down below. And I will see you all in another video. Bye, guys.